of the NGC Bocas Lit Fest, to Jean-Claude Kuna, the Bocas Lit Fest CEO, representatives of all of our very valued sponsors and partners, and of course to all of you readers and writers in the audience, welcome, thank you for coming. So the last time I stood on this stage in almost exactly this spot, looking out at an audience in this room, was, I can give you the exact date, Sunday the 5th of May, 2019, at the end of what was the final event on the final day of that year's festival, our last in-person festival. So I can remember the date because I looked it up, but I can't claim that I remember exactly what I might have said as we were wrapping things up. But I'm pretty sure I said something along the lines of, see you back here next year, right? Well, little did I know. Little did any of us know what 2020 had in store for us. And I have to admit, there were some very pessimistic moments, especially in the early pandemic months, when I really wondered if we'd ever be able to come back here, gather here together for the festival. So I'm relieved, and I'm grateful, and I'm excited, and I'm even a little bit astonished that finally, 3 years later than we expected, we are back at last. And we are back with a program that is packed with all the things that our audience expects from the festival, right? We've left nothing out. We're back doing all the things we always used to do. 80 events over the next 3 days. It's never an easy job to fit everything we might like into the festival program, into the available days and hours. But I have to say it was especially hard this year because of the sheer number of amazing books that our Caribbean writers have produced in the past few years. So if you have studied the program, I've got one here on my clipboard, if you've managed to study it as yet, you'll have seen some familiar names and faces on it, but I hope you've also noticed how many of this year's authors are completely new to the festival, which to me says something encouraging about the new literary talent that keeps springing up from the Caribbean. So what makes it possible for us to return here today? Of course, one of the things that makes it possible is the dedication of our very loyal sponsors and partners, whose support for us never flagged, even during the most uncertain parts of the pandemic. It might have been very easy for them in May 2020 to say, see you later. But in fact, they stuck with us, and it permitted us to keep going, to keep offering virtual programming, in fact, to be busier than ever the past 3 years. And it makes it possible for us to be back here this morning. So I have, as we start, to say thank you to NGC, to First Citizens, One Caribbean Media, the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, NLCB, the National Lotteries Control Board, to the British Council, the Massey Foundation, the University of the West Indies, all of them sponsors we've had very long-term relationships with, and we're grateful for them. And I also must say a very special thank you to NALIS, the National Library and Information System Authority, who of course are our hosts at the National Library, have been our hosts since our very first festival in 2011. And honestly, it means a lot to us to be in a place that is dedicated to bringing books and readers together. It's hard to imagine the festival anywhere else. So I want to now invite Jasmine Simmons, Director of the Heritage Library, to give you her own words of welcome on behalf of NALIS. So please welcome Jasmine.
Great morning, yes? Yes? Great. Welcome to the home of Bocas Lit Festival. Welcome fans, festival organizers, featured and future authors. The National Library and Information System Authority is proud to be a part of the return of the NGC Bocas Lit Fest to its home here in the National Library building, under the ambience of the old fire station. This iconic space, look around, soak it in, take it in a little bit. This iconic space was also the home of the Trinidad Theatre Workshop. Therefore, it is no stranger to literature. Since 2011, NALIS has been inextricably involved in the festival, organizing library tours and a preservation and conservation workshop. This year's workshop would again be facilitated by Daniel Fraser, Library Conservator, and it is titled Preservation and Conservation for Beginners. The workshop will demonstrate preservation techniques for authors and other persons who are interested in preserving treasured books, documents, and very, very, very valuable manuscripts. The workshop is currently underway to a packed crowd. Our 53 first-time authors are also being celebrated this year for writing their very first book, and they have already been invited to take part in the Writers First seminars. They are very excited. NALIS will celebrate its 14th annual First-Time Authors Appreciation Program on May 9th. Indeed, Bocas Lit Fest is a very special time for authors, having the opportunity to socialize and learn from the very best of literary minds. There is a general excitement in the air when Bocas is in town, and this year the theme seems to generate the right buzz, inviting individuals to What's Your Story? As we meander our way out of the pandemic, it is important that individuals have many avenues for self-expression. We believe that everyone should be given a safe avenue to tell your own story. We share our stories on the walls of Heritage Library Division with the art of Leroy Clark, where it is displayed. In our programs in public libraries, Take the Stage, a collaboration with Roots Foundation. And really, on just about any occasion, there is a microphone. I would just want to close by lending my voice to one of the newest things called spoken word. I did a little brush up since the media, all right? So Bocas asks you this year, what's your story? What claims do you have to stake yourself in history? Come, break it down and tell us what's your deal. You have 72 hours to get personal and real. So come one, come all, share your story. Be part of the making of history. It doesn't matter your creed or race. There is no age limit in this literary space. Come share what you have bundled up in your belly. All your frustrations and anxiety about society. Do it respectfully and creatively. Come share your story. Be brave, whether you are a mentor or a mentee. Let's share with them the elements of writing your own story. By taking examples from our great communicators of the past, Black Stalin, Selvon, and Roller, you will have a blast. Come awaken your inner spoken word artist and use your story as a way to release yourself from mental slavery. Welcome to Bocas Lit Fest, and tell us what's your story. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jasmine, who I suspect might be auditioning for the First Citizens National Poetry Slam. I can see where this is going. You know, it's the second time you've shared a piece. I see a kind of... Thank you, Jasmine. And, you know, I think everyone in this room knows how important libraries and librarians are. So even though libraries are traditionally supposed to be a very quiet place, I think what we should do, loud enough that the librarians over in the National Library building can help us, the librarians and all the staff who support them. Let's give them a big round of applause for the work they do, please. So thank you again. And it also means a great deal to us to have the Deputy PS from the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts here with us this morning. You know, the ministry's sponsorship, which goes way back, is very valuable to us, but not just the money, but their moral support that they've given us over the years. For the festival, for literary arts more generally, for our writers, our artists, musicians, all of our creative practitioners. So we are very happy that the Deputy PS is here to greet us, to welcome the writers, and to declare the festival open. So please let's welcome her to the stage. With a big round of applause.
Good morning. Mrs. Marina Salandi Brown, founder and president of the Bocas Lit Fest. Mr. Jacques-Claude Coran, Bocas Lit Fest CEO. Representative of the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago. Ms. Lisa Burkett, Senior Manager, Corporate Sustainability. Mr. Miles Lewis, Head of Corporate Social Responsibility, and Ms. Natalie Phipps Fleming, Social Responsibility Officer. Ms. Jasmine Simmons, Director of the Heritage Library at Nallis, representative of all NGC Bocas Lit Fest sponsors and partners, writers from around the world and across Trinidad and Tobago, ladies and gentlemen, readers and literature lovers. It is truly a privilege to be here with you as a representative of the Ministry of Tourism, Culture and the Arts, welcoming the return of the in-person celebrations of the NGC Bocas Lit Fest. After 3 years of virtual programming and patient anticipation, we are pleased to be together again, honoring our literary traditions together. I take this opportunity to welcome new, returning, and visiting writers, as well as you, the audience, to this weekend festivities. Given the literary nature of this event, there is an exception for my remarks to be a true work of poetic prowess and literary genius. But local authors like V.S. Naipaul, Earl Lovelace, and Derek Walcott have all blazed a trail of excellence in storytelling that I could never follow. However, what I can do is share their legacy of authenticity and their sincere passion for our culture and the sacred stories of our people. That is what I intend to offer you today. For decades, storytelling has been the life force of Caribbean people. Through it, we recall our histories and redeem our past. We make sense of our present and offer our hopes for the future. Through the power of the spoken and written word, we turn our tragedies into comedies. We provoke our comforts and call for justice. We let our honest stories shine a light on the beautiful and painful parts of our heritage. And we call for collective healing. For this reason, I particularly love this year's theme, What's Your Story? Because it invites our people to express themselves and to share their thoughts with each other and the public through literary and other means. No one can tell stories like Caribbean people. There is so much color and rhythm in our words, even the bodily expression evoked through our writing oratory, music, dance, and other genres of storytelling all create a unique experience that leaves a mark on our world. For this reason, the ministry has been proud sponsor of this event for many years because we see it as an important incubator for the development of emerging storytellers, where hobbies can be transformed into passions and passions into lucrative professions. This work significantly aligned with that of the Artists Registry of Trinidad and Tobago, through which the ministry supports the development of our creative sector and the professionalization of our nation's artists. We are pleased to see the important role that cultural advocacy plays in the NGC Bocas Lit Fest programming. The ministry's mandate continues to be to support the preservation of our performance traditions from one generation to the next. We are privileged to have our financial contributions directly benefit the festival's annual extempo debate, old mass competition, and more, and we applaud your efforts to showcase the connections between our performance traditions, storytelling, and writing. I am always happy when I see that in any cultural initiatives, there are elements specifically dedicated to youth involvement and development. The Children's Festival and Storytelling Caravan sow the seeds of creativity in our children and young people, while providing an avenue for them to express themselves and tell all of the issues that may be affecting them. I see this festival as a form of therapy and tell of a type of journaling for young minds who are now learning the greatness and grittiness of the Caribbean experience. I note that the marketing and media manager emphasized recently that the festival wants to hear stories that the nation is proud of. I agree wholeheartedly. The world is full of negative stories, and in the midst of global challenges, this can be a space for the young to encourage each other and be inspired to create a happier world, a better world, through uplifting, people-focused, nation-building stories. I particularly look forward to the spoken word poem, which will be shared by the young poet Shimiah Lewis shortly after my remarks. This example is one for our nation's youth to follow. As I close, I would like to congratulate NGC Bocas Lit Fest team for their role in championing the stories of our nation and region. I congratulate our new writers for your courage in sharing your stories. I commend returning storytellers for your commitment to this performance tradition, and I welcome visiting writers to our shows. May you find a sense of solidarity here in this exchange of stories and experiences this weekend. On behalf of the Ministry of Tourism, Culture, and the Arts, I declare this festival officially open. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy P.S. Pascal, for those generous words. And well, with the festival officially declared open, I think the final element we need to launch us is, as she just hinted, into these 3 days of word stories and ideas is a bit of poetry. And so, well, as she just told you, you don't have to worry, I'm not going to read you a poem, right? Instead, I'm going to invite to the stage a very talented young spoken word poet, Shimiah Lewis, who was a finalist for the 2022 NGC Bocas Youth Writer Award, which is a new prize for young writers we launched in the middle of COVID. She's also a 2-time finalist in the First Citizens National Poetry Slam, so some competition for this other Jasmine. And she is even a 2013 recipient of a National Youth Award in the field of performing arts. So she's written a special poem to perform for us this morning on the festival theme, What's Your Story? So let's welcome her, Shimiah Lewis.
Good morning, everyone. 5th February, 1998, 2200 hours. The battalion gathered. A 2-bedroom apartment in Maloney, paint peeling off walls they secured in battle stations. 2 rooms, 1 general. Body barricaded by sweat, minced breath, throat like static, tears blur vision, the air smells of anxiety and hospital failure. The lieutenant gives the order. Push! The heat of battle fills the nostrils as the general conscripts yet another soldier. Jem, I saw you grow. Strap on your Gideon boots, cause you knew this was the fight for your life. and the battle was robust. The commander-in-chief would arm his side, armed with blows to beretta bruises on your body. You'd snake through razor wire, cut skin to feel anything other than him. The air is stiffening. You hear the voice of your battalion falling, but you're crawling on all fours to find shelter in a metaphor. But crawl quietly, so his hands won't landmine your face. Hide between pages. Don't let his fists create a crater in your cranium. Careful. Don't cross those black and blue wires, as to not set off the time bomb. Show him love, so he won't pistol whip that love right out. One day, the general relieved the commander-in-chief of his duty, dishonorably discharged, but you, left buried beneath the fog of phantom chokes, you dug tunnels through similes. Like a clay kicker, you'd dig to make escapes in poems, create safe houses from the tip of your pen. But on the 7th January, 2021, 1500 hours, you got tired of digging. And the pen you used to create a safe house became the same house you'd trade for a blade. But the grace of God sent the general to your door, reminded you of what you was fighting for, let you know you don't have permission to desert this war, so you prayed. Cried out to Yeshua, and the top sergeant major came down, defused the bombs, told you this war was never yours, gave you his armor, stopped heaven and earth to give you a second birth, removed you from the barbed wire. And this is the story of Shimiah Lewis. What's yours? Speak like your life depends on it, because it does. Who else would keep alive the times you stepped on landmines and survived? Speak like there's a time bomb in your throat, as if every tick is a word to describe the thickness of your sentence. Speak like your tongue was on fire and your story was the only water to make it simmer. Speak. You rifle your dreams by stifling your voice. And I know this battle rough, and you're often left with little choice but speak until the words no longer form. Speak, my fellow soldiers, so your words won't fall. Thank you.
Shimiah Lewis, if you need any evidence that Trinidad is continuing to produce amazing writers in every genre, every age group, every kind of book, you'll find it here at this festival, right? Lots of them. So speak like your tongue was on fire. That's what our best writers do, and they're going to be burning up this stage for the next 3 days. Not literally. I don't want anybody to get, not literally, but. So now that we've all got lit up, as it were, we'll, in a few minutes, going to begin the first formal event in our program here in the old fire station, which is our Big Ideas discussion panel, Equal for All. We have a packed program running all day with events here in the fire station, over in the library building, in the AV room, the Abercrombie Street Arcade. Go and buy a festival guide if you don't have one yet. Remember to check out the festival booksellers in the library rotunda. They've got books by all the festival writers. When you get hungry and thirsty, the festival cafe is right outside in the other wing of the old fire station, opening closer to lunchtime. And also, please go and visit the Friends of Bocas Lit Fest booth in the library rotunda and learn how you can give direct support to the festival and our other projects, because there is no Bocas without you. So thank you for coming here this morning. Special hello to everybody watching on the live stream, wherever you are in the world. Carolyn Cooper, special hello to you. I know you told me you were going to be watching, so in Jamaica. Hi, Carolyn. And we're about to start the next event in this space, so please stick around for it or go and explore the other events in the festival program. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. You'll see a lot of me over the next few days.